All right, so I was at the Intelligentsia Cup this year. I made this video asking the pros what they choose for crit racing. One of the key takeaways was tire size. 28 millimeters is now the minimum tire size. It only goes up from there, which to me was kind of shocking, especially after learning that it's not just local pros, it's also World Tour pros that are now running 30, sometimes even 32s for road racing. Crazy, because you don't have to go back that far, and we're on 23s. So that begs the question, where's the limit? How big is too big? Today we're going to answer that question. We have 28s, 32s, and up to a whopping 34s, which is the biggest you can fit in a modern road bike. And we're going to run some tests. Have an answer for you in just a minute. Hang in there. Okay, so here's how we're running the tests. I got Will here to help me out. Thanks, buddy. Same exact tire. What are they? Vittoria Corsa Next tubes. Not tubeless ready. We have 3 different versions. Like I said, 28, 32, 34. It's the same type of tire. It's the same bike. It's the same rider. It's the same power meter. It's the same course. It's the same everything. The only thing we're swapping out is the tire itself, so we can actually find the performance benefit of going bigger, or maybe it's a drawback. Stay tuned to find out. One thing that's going to change though also is pressure. Now, we have used the Silca tire pressure calculator to determine the optimal pressure for each tire, because we want to give each size its fair shake. What are the best possible conditions for each tire? So that's how we're going to run the tests. 3 each.
3 each.
Ready for it, buddy?
Yeah, it's a pretty bumpy course. I think big is going to be better.
Big is going to be better, is going to be faster. It's going to be more comfortable probably. Yeah, so we're going to have a discussion about comfort, obviously about the results of the test, about just raw performance in about 5 minutes. Maybe we'll cue the B-roll. Bam! All right, I lied. We're actually going to do one more thing before we start. Will, what are we starting with?
So we've got the 28 millimeter tires here, and we're adjusting pressures per tire to get the optimal pressure, and how we're doing that is the Silca tire pressure calculator. What you do with that is you plug in the road conditions, and then it will give you, for your tire size, the optimal pressure. So with 28s, it says we're going to run 73 psi in the front and 75 in the rear. We're just going to check that we do indeed have 28 millimeter tires on. We've got our fancy caliper. Slap that on there, and we have 27.
Oh, actually kind of bang on, yeah. And of course these are the 28s.
Yeah.
All right, now we're ready to rip it. What do you think?
We're good. Let's go.
All right, round 1 done. The 28s are in the books, but now we have put on the 32s, which are kind of thick, but honestly, the Rapides that we're testing on have a pretty thick outside diameter on the rim. So this actually feels kind of appropriate. Pressures though, pretty big drop. The optimal pressure on the 32s is 5960, was that it, Will?
Yes.
5960, but the moment of truth, do they actually measure 32s? Did you measure on the front or the back last time?
Back.
Back. What do we got?
Ooh, a little narrower than expected.
A little
31.
bit. 31, just under 31. So not quite the 32, but let's see how they feel, how they perform. Let's do it. All right, back from the 32s, how'd they feel?
Felt good. Felt smooth. Was a lot less chattery than the 28s.
Significant. I think
Yeah.
a new rider would get on and be like immediately feeling the difference between 28 and 32.
I agree. It is a big difference. Big difference.
But now we got the 34s installed. We're about to run the 34s. But first, according to Silca, again, what is the optimal pressure for the 34 setup?
We've got 53.5 psi in the front, and then 55 psi in the back. And
we're gonna
once
truth
again,
check the width.
Yeah, truth check. So we'll see how wide these guys actually are. These are big boys.
What we got?
33.1. So
Little under, but chonky boy. I mean,
Chonky.
look at the, come on.
yeah, that's big.
Look at the caboose. All right, you ready to give it one more lap? One more lap?
Yeah, let's send it.
We are back from testing. We have results to talk about. But first, I wanted to talk about our approach, because what we ended up doing, based on Will's brilliant suggestion, was like, hey, let's approach this from two different speeds, because the speed at which we were running these tests might actually influence our recommendations for what is the best tire. Because if you're going slower, maybe, the faster tire is the narrow tire, or vice versa. So anyway, Will manned up and did 300 watts for these tests. Are you tired?
A little tired. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week. And I ended up doing 225, and I am super grateful that I did the lower power. It's been a hard week. But let's talk about results now. 5.2 mile course, 300 watts. You started with 28s. How did the 28s feel?
Yeah, just felt like home. My results were 14 minutes and 12 seconds.
301 watts, 28 millimeter tires, 1412. That is about 22.3 miles an hour.
Yeah.
There, yeah. I looked at the cheat sheet I had in front. 22.3 miles an hour. Now we put on the 32s, and I don't know about you, but mine exploded with I couldn't believe the feeling difference. I think a new cyclist would appreciate this difference more than a frame or wheel set would make. This is, guys, this is the most important part of your bike, the part that touches the ground. 28 to 32 is huge.
Quite a lot smoother. And this isn't even a price difference. You're just choosing a different size.
Exactly right.
So there's no difference at all other than just picking a 32. And you could feel it felt smoother and kind of felt slower because you're not getting all those vibrations, but
it wasn't slower.
Not slower. 22 seconds faster.
I couldn't believe
on the
22
32
seconds,
mils.
guys. So that is 22.9 miles an hour. And that is more than a half a mile an hour of free speed. Because like Will said, it's the same price for the bigger tire. It feels better. It's faster. I couldn't believe it. Guy, this is like that pressure test video I did with Blaine a couple months back. I couldn't believe the results.
Right.
So then I was like, are we going to get more free speed with 34s? Hit him with it, Will.
Yeah. Go big. And we did that 34 mil tire. It actually was about 3 seconds slower for me. So pretty bang on. That's not a big difference at all.
Feeling wise?
Felt about the same. Not a huge difference, weirdly. It's only 2 millimeters up, maybe a little smoother, but
about the same on the course,
overall
right?
About the same.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing when I was out there, and we're going to get to my results in just a second here, but there was something, that lower part of the course, you're rolling over the little sticks, the bumps, the twigs, the cracks.
Yeah.
And it's you don't feel them. I felt like I had shocks on with the 34. Compared to the 28s, I can't believe we used to run 23s. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get into my results. So I averaged around 20 miles an hour at 225 watts. So we're talking about a lower speed. So this might be more pertinent for the lower categories. Diving just straight into results. We talked about the feeling of 28s. We already kind of knew about that. What about my time? 226 watts, 15 minutes, 43 seconds, 19.8 miles an hour. Okay, great. Moving on to the 32. Did I see the same gains that Will did at a lower speed? The answer is yes, I did.
Yeah.
I can't believe this, guys. Not quite as extreme as Will. Actually, maybe as a percentage, it's about the same. I went up 0.4 miles an hour to 20.2 with also 226 watts.
Yeah.
So we're seeing essentially the same. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I put on the 34s. We can talk more about the feeling. We've kind of already shared those thoughts. They felt the best, but really the big jump was 28 to 32.
Yeah.
34s, I actually lost time. Not as slow as the 28s were, but 32 is definitely the sweet spot at 225 watts or about 20 miles an hour. On a course that is, I think, very representative. You said it best, Will. This is like a classic U.S. road racing or crit racing course. There's some sections that are smooth pavement. There's some sections that are very questionable, bumpy, and everything in between. Some rolling hills. We had a little bit of everything on that course. That's why I choose this for testing. Here is our final recommendation. If you are in the faster categories, if you're averaging something like 23 plus miles an hour, 300 watts, Will?
Yeah, it would smooth out to go 34s, especially if you're in a pack and you can't see potholes coming up. Those 34s are going to offer you a little extra protection too, which I did not expect to recommend 34s at the end of this.
I was joking with Will at the end of this video. I was like, dude, am I going to be racing like 40s at 15 PSI on my road bike? Like, what's,
right.
where is the end? The whole point of this, the whole concept of this video was like, how big is too big?
Yeah.
And we still don't know, because I think 34 is a very reasonable choice.
Yeah,
now, of
absolutely.
course, not all bikes will accommodate 34s or even larger than 34s, but I think that's like a good choice. From my perspective, at 225 watts, 34 actually slowed you down a bit, which might still make sense if you are on particularly crappy pavement with potholes and things that'll give you pinch flats. Like you said, if you're in a pack, you can't see what's coming. But if you want the fastest, highest performant at about 20 miles an hour, 225 watts, you definitely should go with 32s, which I never thought that would be the conclusion and the recommendation of this video. But guys, that's why we make these. We have a total blast. Will, it was great having you out. If you guys are looking for more content like this, if you have recommendations, please drop a comment down below. We absolutely love making these, and we'll see you guys in the next one.